Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. My name is Muhammad Dani Hakim bin Zainizam, and today I will present my self-reflection report for UBM599, which is Digital Workforce. In this presentation, I will share my reflection based on two chapters that I found very meaningful and useful, especially for future career preparations. The two chapters are Chapter 2, which is Crowdsourcing Fundamentals, and Chapter 5, Working with Clients. These two topics help me understand not only how digital work functions, but also what skills are needed to survive in today's digital economy. I chose these topics because I think both are highly relevant in today's world, especially with the growth of freelancing, remote work, and online business. The purpose of this reflection is to look back at what I learned throughout the course and evaluate how much I have improved. I also want to reflect on the skills and knowledge I gained and how these lessons can help me in my future career. Personally, this subject changed the way I see work because now I realize that digital work offers many opportunities beyond traditional office jobs. In Chapter 2, I learned about crowdsourcing and how it works in the digital workforce. Before learning this topic, I only had a basic understanding of crowdsourcing. I thought it simply meant many people working online, but after learning in detail, I understood that crowdsourcing involves multiple important roles. For example, there are platforms like Upwork or Fiverr that connect people. Then, we have digital workers, task providers, and also enablers who support the ecosystems. I also learned the difference between digital micro-tasks and specialized digital work. Micro-tasks are smaller and simpler tasks, while specialized work requires advanced expertise like graphic design, programming, and consultancy. This chapter made me realize that the digital economy is much bigger and more structured than I initially thought. For the next slide, my initial perspective on freelancing was quite simple. I thought freelancing mainly depends on technical skill. For example, if someone is good at design or coding, I assume they will automatically succeed. I also believed that applying to many jobs was enough to get hired. But after learning this chapter, my perspective changed. I realized freelancing is not only about skills, it also requires adaptability, disciplines, trust, and motivations. One challenge I personally reflect on is maintaining focus and staying motivated when working independently. Without a supervisor, self-discipline becomes very important. From this chapter, I learned that long-term success depends on more than talent. Mindset, consistency, and continuous learning are equally important. For the next slides, from Chapter 2, I gained two important skills. The first is understanding crowdsourcing models. Now I can better identify different types of digital work and understand how these systems operate. This helped me evaluate how freelance platforms create opportunities for workers. The second skill is project evaluation. This means I learned how to assess whether a freelance project is suitable for me. For example, before accepting a project, I should consider whether it matches my skill, workload, and ability to deliver quality results. This is important to avoid overcommitting. Move to the next slide, insight and future. My biggest insight from Chapter 2 is that crowdsourcing offers huge opportunities in the digital economy. Today, people can work with clients from different countries without leaving home. That is very powerful. However, I also learned that technical skills alone are not enough. Trust, engagement, communication, and professionalism matter a lot. In the future, I plan to explore freelance platforms to gain experience. I also want to improve my adaptability, communication, and problem-solving skills. Most importantly, I need to keep learning because digital industries change very fast. For the next slide, Chapter 5 Learning Experience. In Chapter 5, I learned about working with clients. This chapter felt very practical because it focused on real workplace situations. I learned that communication with clients must be professional and clear. I also learned the importance of project planning before accepting a job. This includes understanding requirements, deadline, budget, and deliverable. Besides that, I learned about contract management and secure communication on freelance platform. Another important concept is milestone payment. This project both the client and freelancer during long-term projects. For the next slide, Chapter 5 Reflection. At first, I thought completing tasks quickly was the most important thing. I believe speed equals efficiency, but after learning this chapter, I realized speed alone is not enough. Even if the work is complete fast, problems can still happen if communication is poor. For example, if project requirements are unclear, the freelancer might produce something different from what the client wants. This leads to conflict and dissatisfaction. Our challenge, I notice, is failing to set expectations early. This can cause misunderstanding later. The biggest lesson I learned is that communication builds trust. Good communication reduces risk and creates smoother collaboration. Move to the next slide, skills acquired. In Chapter 5, I gained two major skills. The first is client communication. I learned how to communicate professionally, respond clearly, and manage expectations. This skill is very important because clients value reliability and professionalism. The second skill is proposal and risk management. This includes preparing proposals, negotiating terms, and managing project risks. I also learned how milestone payments can reduce financial risk. These skills are useful not only in freelancing, but also in normal business environments. For the next slide is insight and future. My key takeaway from Chapter 5 is that professional communication is critical. No matter how skilled a person is, poor communication can damage client relationships. Transparency is also important. Clients appreciate honesty, updates, and clear discussions. Proper planning reduces confusion and project risk. In the future, I want to improve my negotiation skills and confidence in dealing with clients. I also want to practice communicating more professionally in both academic and work settings. For the next slide is suggestion. For improvement, I think this course can be enhanced with more real-life case studies. Learning theory is useful, but real example helps students understand practical challenge better. I also think analyzing unsuccessful freelance projects would be beneficial. Sometimes we're learning more from failures than success. For example, students can study why projects fail, whether due to poor communication, unclear scope, or weak planning. Proposal review sessions will also help students gain confidence before entering the real market. For the last slide, conclusion. As a conclusion, this course gave me valuable knowledge about freelancing and client management. I gained practical understanding of how digital work operates and what challenges freelancers face. I also developed important skills such as communication, analytical thinking, and project management. Overall, this subject prepared me better for the digital workforce. Most importantly, it changed my mindset. Now, I no longer see freelancing as just side income. I see it as a real career opportunity with strong potential in the future. This is all from me. Thank you.